Thank you very much for coming so early in the morning to the Berlin Brandenburg Airport. Thank you to the airport for letting us use this room today. And thank you to Jürgen Siebert for inviting us to Creative Mornings. This is Heike, and together, I'm Sibylle, and together with Isolde Frey, we are the senior partners of Moniteurs. And today we talk about the signage of this airport. First, we start with the concept and identity, then how we developed the signage, and as third, the signage and information design beyond the terminal. Afterwards, there will be some time for questions. If you hear a talk about signage, you might imagine a talk about function. And most of the signage systems of airports are purely functional. But we will also talk about identity. In our signage system, we combine identity and function. The architects of this building are GMP Architects and JSK Architects International. This picture or image was the first GMP showed us as their concept. The image, as you can see, shows the linear structure, typical as the trees of Brandenburg. Like the architects, we refer to Berlin's building history. There's an important tradition of architecture in this city. Carl Friedrich Schinkel did most of his important works in Berlin. And many of them, such as the old museum you can see here, still give distinction to Berlin's appearance today. And Mies van der Rohe's National Gallery continues this attitude to today as a building of international recognition. In the architect's rendering, you can see the clear and geometrical forms, the vertical and horizontal lines, taken from Schinkel to the Bauhaus to today. The origin of our graphic concept is these lines. With this tonal value, we have identity and function in one. The color red stands for Berlin and Brandenburg, but we made it a bit darker, so it communicates quality and identity. It has signal character and it grabs your attention. In addition to red-white, we have the dark gray. The dark gray is for service information, the red is for flight information. Because we are using these tonal values instead of multiple colors, we are able, for example, to do hierarchies with only 2 colors. And it makes it calmer and therefore easier to read. This airport has got an exclusive typeface for corporate design and signage. We took part in the process of developing this font done by Alexander Branschik and Georg Seifert. A good readable typeface helps the passengers to find their way. This typeface, for example, has a big X height, and this is good for readability. The typeface for us is the third identity-giving attribute after color and the lines. And typography is able to support ideas, to convey content purely by its appearance. The ascenders and descenders take the angle of takeoff and landing. We are using double differentiation. For the German text, we use bold weight, and for English, we use lightweight. For English translation, we use a smaller text, so it's easy to find your language. You just look which size you are. Besides the color, the typography and the tonal value, the pictograms are very important for function, and identity. Pictograms. The pictogram family was worked out for the special needs of this airport. And the style also derives from the typography. We came up with the idea of taking the curves of the O for the curves of the pictogram family. And this now is an example why we think it's useful for an airport to have its own pictogram family. There will be a train station directly under the airport, and there will be regional trains and city trains on different platforms. So with these different pictograms, we can guide the passengers to the relevant platform. But there are also pictograms which have to be supported by text. For example, this is the pictogram for the airport city. And this is a specific pictogram only for this airport. The airport city, as we have seen, is directly in front of the terminal. It is like a little city where you can go to a hotel and have a meeting, for example. So this pictogram refers to a typical city center pictogram. And there is also, the helmet goes down, and there is also the Willy Brandt-Platz in the middle of this airport city. That is why we put the dot in the middle of the pictogram.
Okay. Thank you. So let's also take a look at what other people have done. Like everything, information design is influenced by the style of the time. In German, we call it Zeitgeist. And in the 70s, airport looked like this. Most of them had the same color. And it was a time when standardization starts, and it was a time when globalization was far away. In the 90s, 20 years later, they look like this. The architecture has changed to glass and steel, and so blue was more appropriate to the architecture. And today, the major airports look like this. These are the 10 world best airports, major airports, ranked by the World Best Airport ranking. And we see color and typeface is not used for building up a specific identity. And with Berlin, we will add something new to this range of international airports. Yeah, pictograms have a different style. We have seen that before. And pictograms come from different countries. We think most of you will know and immediately recognize this London cab. And this one you may not know. This is an Indian taxi with this typical meter on the side. And we think with a regional aspect, pictograms should have their own identity and create a special space. In Berlin right now, in Tegel, they use pictograms from 1968. So it was the time when pictograms were standardized, and there was another family of pictograms from AIGA, and like in Paris we see they use from every decade from the 70s, they use pictograms. The left one, Ottel Eicher, was used in Munich. AIGA, some were modified, bigger lighting at the cars, and they did also new ones for the train, and the information I is from the ADV family, so they put together all these pictograms, and we think for Berlin it should have more consistent look. And the transfer pictogram is always different on every airport, because at that time when the families were designed, there was no need for transfer pictograms. There were no big hubs, and so this is one which is not standardized in a way. yeah, let's switch back.
So having these ideas of identity in mind, we now want to show you how we developed our signage and how we combine identity and function. So when you are landside the airport, there's only one direction to go. You go check-in and you go departure. Once you have passed security, you have the choice to make which gate you want to go to. Now the image of the airplane is no longer enough. We change to letters. You have to switch because there are the letters A, B, C and D for the gate areas. And we combine this with the lines. Coming back to double differentiation. We do not need to differentiate with colors. And there is not only differentiation for languages, but also for the gate names and gate numbers. You can see the differentiation with the lines and the size. The positions of the signs. This circle shows how far away a person with below average sight can read a sign. So for example, this is 27 meters. So every sign is 27 meters apart relating to the previous sign, as well as the sign distances. The decision points of the passengers are relevant for the positioning of the signs. To check all of these in real space, we did mock-up cardboard signs. With these mock-ups, we could test the sequences of the signs, the type sizes, and the quantity of the signs. We also tested the tonal values. We wanted the letters to be big, to be seen from far away. But in plain white, they would have been too bright and overwhelming all the other information. Here are some signs from our family. There are the main type of signs about 6 or 7. But in variations, we have about 100 variations and about 100 type of layout, so together 2,500 signs. You can see here the integrated signs, integrated in the walls, for example, the standing signs and the hanging signs. They are all based on the architectural grid with a common horizon for about 2.60 meters.
And being involved in the project so early gives us the chance to integrate the system more fully. With tracing paper, together with the architect, we found the best positioning for the signs, like here freestanding or integrated in a wall. And this is an early prototype for such an integrated sign. They will be enlightened. Integration and maintaining the specific horizon gives calmness to the situation, and it looks good. And it's more effective in a way because in space, regarding space, you don't need a sign in front of the wall. The wall is the sign. And regarding fabrication, you fabricate the wall, and this is also the sign. So this was the idea behind it. This is another prototype from a freestanding sign, and we checked the signs together with the architects, with the airport staff, and with the sign manufacturer. We checked every detail of construction, but also we take a close look at the color of the material and the lighting. They are backlighted, and we noticed that red is not red. We tested red for different purposes, for materials, and we tried to bring it very close together in the process. And we did one prototype of every kind of a sign. And it was always exciting to see the graphics on the real piece, because in the office we had made a lot of full-size printouts, but in the end we were really happy to see it on the real sign. In some parts of the airport we put information directly on the wall. We had to test this, and this is a real situation where we put the graphic on the wall, and the graphic is not there just for orientation, it also there for safety purpose, to stop people from walking through the glass, for example. This is an early rendering of the architect, by the architect. And yeah, we are sometimes surprised that the real thing is getting now so close to the rendering we have seen so many years. So this, yeah, this is the marketplace. We couldn't pass through now, but yeah, this will be the important decision point to make, where we split, as Sibylle said, from the airplane pictogram to the gate areas. So we spend a lot of time on this area, figuring out every position and content of the sign and bring them together. Yeah, and you might not see it on this picture, but you can see it on the screen. We use the same typeface, or the airport uses the same typeface for online, not online also, but for the monitors and for the signs. And yeah, we think this is very forward-looking from the airport, that they have a view on the whole project, and to keep everything printed, sign, online, very close together. And we think it's very forward-looking of the airport, and yeah, we like that. Yeah, we didn't just do the signage, we also did information design for employees. They have to learn about the building. We did maps for them before the opening. Yeah, they have to find their way through the building. And we also did maps for passengers, both online and printed. And yeah, this is some time ago, no, before. And yeah, but an airport will never be finished. It grows all the time. And the concept of this parallel runways here, and over there, gave the possibility to grow pier after pier in between these lines. So this is the new generation airport concept. And right now they have built A, B, C, D gate areas, but in future they will also be built E and F, and another set of piers will hopefully follow some years later, which will be called G and H. So we had to include that in the information design, and we did this concept together with the airport, because this was the shortest and clearest way on the sign, because in the main position decision point, it makes the signs very clear and easy to read. So let's also take a short look beyond the terminal. Beyond the terminal means, right now we talked a lot about the terminal, but in front of the terminal we have a big airport soon, big airport city growing, and so we have to we have many sign systems in a way. We have to bring them close together. We want them to support each other regarding content and design and layout, and they have to be well connected. So they have a consistent and logical wording and design. And we did the planning for the terminal, for the airport city, and for the service area with all the operational building we have seen on our way here, and we are coordinating the road signs as well. So this is how coordination starts, and this is we have seen this in reality. This is how it ends. For us, this project was all about combining function and identity, bring them close together, because today, more than ever, airports need a strong identity. They are very competitive. They have to attract airlines and the business that are following. They have to have a high volume of passengers, like 25 millions we have heard before, and this will be a huge airport, and they have to have a strong standing in the world of international major airports. And we, together with the airport and the architect, come very close to the idea that the identity is built into the building in every corner by the signs. So beside the logo, the signage brings the identity in the building and around it, and that's was our aim, and I think we've got along that way soon. So thank you very much for listening, and we hope there are many questions and we can answer them.